Greetings, nerds and newcomers. My name is Austin Alesso, and this is a quick tutorial for Fantasy Grounds. So let's begin. Firstly, you need to download Fantasy Grounds for Dungeons & Dragons. So enter the URL fantasygrounds.com and go to the top right corner and hit the drop-down menu, Downloads. Now you can select two options to download. One through Steam, and the second through Windows or Mac download. Note, you do not need to pay for Fantasy Grounds. Download which one fits you and launch the application. Once finished, launch the application and this screen should appear. Yours will look a bit different than mine, but that's okay. Just find the Settings tab, and towards the bottom you will see an Update category. Make sure the Live option is selected and click Select OK. After this step, click Update and let it run. Next, on the main menu, select Join Game. There will be two lists, Username and Host Address. Select your username that you will use every session, and the host address is a phrase that I will give you before session time. Input that phrase and click Start. You will connect to my game lobby if I am on. Do have patience, as Fantasy Grounds is slow to start up and it lags when people join the lobby. Once you finish loading into the lobby, this is what you should see on your screen. The first thing to pop up is Campaign Setup. Click the checkmark Show on Load to disable this feature and click Next. Now this step is really important. Select the Modules button and the screen will appear. Here we click buttons to load modules and information into your cache. Click Load on the following modules: All the Stuff, D&D Player's Handbook, and D&D Xanathar's Guide to Everything Players. Then select Next to continue. Alright, since that is done, there's one last major thing for setup. Select and click the icon on the bottom right hand of the screen named Library. On the top buttons, click the Create PC icon that pops up and close out the dialog box by selecting X in the top right. From here, let me discuss what all the stuff on the screen does. In the top right buttons, we have the ability to change dice color with the easel icon, modifiers like the opportunity attack, cover, or critical damage, and effects with the person icon. The icons on the right side of the screen allow you to access the different groups of text. In the bottom right, you have the dice tower, which will hide your roll, and you can move it by right-clicking on it and dragging it where you want. On the bottom left, you have your dice you roll into the text box like so. If you right-click on the die, you can add more dice to your roll or change the die type, like the D10, to a percentile roll. Beside the dice, you have a quick modifier tab that you can click before you roll to give yourself advantage, or negative to hit if the enemy is in cover and you are attacking them. If your dice go all over the place, you can right-click and select this icon and they will reset. The text box has many ways to communicate via text. If you want to know the options, you can type /help into the text box and hit the enter key. It will list the text options for you. Since we communicate via mic, we will skip this section of info. Now, let's create our player character. Select PC's icon, then the plus icon that pops up on the bottom right. Then X out of the character selection screen. This important text box shortcut is to resize any box within Fantasy Grounds. To do so, press Ctrl plus left click on anywhere plane and drag accordingly. Now create your PC in this order. So let us begin. Check on the ability text boxes with the number 10 and manually put in your ability scores. My scores in order are 10, 12, 14, 15, 13, and 8. You can use a tab to switch boxes quickly. Next, we will pull and drag our race into the character sheet. Find the race icon on the right of the screen and select your race by clicking the red dragon icon into your character sheet under the race header like so. If you have any sub-race options, you can select them here. Now we have our player character's background, and we will repeat like so. We will choose the far traveler background and drag it like before. Next, our class is going to be a wizard, so we will select that. Now, if you are using the Player's Handbook options for your Level 2 subclass options, select the wizard from the Player's Handbook. We can see our options by selecting it and scrolling down. We want to be an illusion wizard, so we will select the wizard from the Player's Handbook. We can now select our skills to become proficient in. I will choose Arcana and Investigation. Now we will level up by dragging the same class icon under our level until we reach level 3. We will select our specialization option at level 2, the School of Illusion, and once more we are level 3 and all of our stuff has been added. Now on to step 5. Click the Abilities tab on the right of our character sheet and scroll down to the bottom. We will manually input our tool and language proficiencies. I think that we should be proficient with the lute and the Elven language. Now we need to add our coin name types manually. We will input from the top left to the bottom right in this order: PP, GP, EP, SP, and CP. These stand for platinum pieces, gold pieces, electrum pieces, and silver and copper pieces respectively. Now we are almost done. We need to get our equipment into our character sheet. Return to the Wizard class sheet and scroll down to Equipment. There are links here to the items icon, which is located on the far right. Click and drag the icons after searching for them into the Inventory tab under the Equipment group on your character sheet. We will add the Quarterstaff. Our Arcane Focus is an orb, a Scholar's Pack, and a Spellbook. We will now click on the Actions tab on the bottom tabs of your character sheet to continue. As a 3rd level wizard, we have 3 cantrips, 4 first level spells, and 3 second level spells. We will open the Spells tab on the far right of the base screen. Here, we will narrow our search by going to Source and selecting Wizard. We will start with our cantrips and select 0 for them, and drag and drop 3 of them into our spell slots group on our character sheet. I think that Chill Touch, Message, and Thunderclap sound good. Now we will move on to our first level spells and pick Charm Person, Comprehend Languages, Disguise Self, and Magic Missile. Lastly, we have Darkness, Gentle Repose, and Scorching Ray for 2nd level. Now let's clean this up a bit. On the bottom of the Actions tab, we will select Mode as Standard and Display as Actions. Now we will move to any spell and select the magnifying glass icon. Whenever you select the magnifying glass icon for a spell, it collapses them. And if you select this anywhere else, it allows you to modify that option. Now we can make attack rolls, deal damage, and apply spell effects to our targets. Last thing is to select our portrait. We will click the top left empty box icon on our character sheet, select our race portrait. We are a male ASMR, and we will select this portrait. The DM will give you the appropriate token to use on combat maps. Last thing to do is to give our PC a name, Belandriel. A quick overview of everything on our sheet that we can use to make our life easier is as follows. Any dice icon you can see allows you to roll, and any dragon icon expands and shows all the text. To make a Constitution check, double-click this icon here, or click, drag, and roll the die into the text box as demonstrated. To make a Dexterity saving throw, come over here and do the same. To roll initiative, roll this icon, INIT. To spin hit dice, roll this die right here. and the desk saving roll is beside that. Note, whenever we see a dragon icon or die icon, we can map this to our F keys, like so. Now we can expand this with Control, Alt, and Shift and the like. We have our Skills tab with our proficient ones denoted by the star and our modifiers. The Notes page is where you can input your PC's personal and physical information. Log is used only for Adventurers League, so we can skip that. On this action page, we have this combat scenario set up. We will start by rolling initiative. Once rolled,